When I was working with the group last night, we were talking about the importance of which finger you decide to lead with when you play a phrase. And when you lead with a certain finger when you're going to play a phrase, it's going to be different depending on what you're playing, but there are some that are universal, because there are some that allow you to do more and have more options with where to go than others. So if you start with your middle finger, well, that's setting you up for the best possible outcome because you have two fingers on this side, so you could go this way, or you have two fingers on this side, so you could go that way. So basically, starting with the middle finger is the most versatile way to begin a phrase. And this might seem like a surprise. I mean, maybe that I'm telling you, it sounds obvious, but it's a surprise for some people because we're used to guiding or leading with the index finger with things that we do every day. We point, we grab things, and usually the index finger is our guide, But when it comes to piano, the strongest finger is the finger in the middle of your hand, right? That's the finger that gets the most support. It's also the longest. Um, So when you really think about it, which finger is actually going to be the most reliable? It's this guy. So while it might seem strange at first, begin to get in the habit of starting most of your phrases with this finger. And this takes some getting used to, even though logically it seems like the most promising finger to use. We just have a habit, at least I do, of leading with this finger. So an exercise that I love to work on that we were working on last night, is practicing our turns. So what is a turn? It's where you go up from a note that you start on, you go back to it, you go below it, and then you can either end it there or you can return. And it really becomes a turn when you play it fast enough. But you don't have to play it that fast. You can play it like a little melody. And then you also have the inverted turn where you go down first. So one of my students was wondering, well, is this considered a turn? Or the And I said, actually, that's an enclosure. And so what's the difference between an enclosure and a turn? Well, with a turn, you're always using consecutive neighboring notes. You're never skipping any. But with an enclosure, you're surrounding a note through a skip and then you're approaching it. So an enclosure is not classified as an ornamentation because it does not use consecutive notes throughout the phrase. Okay, but a an ornamentation always uses consecutive notes, whether that's a mordent, a lower mordent, or a trill. No matter what, we've created this definition of an ornamentation where the notes are always the closest in proximity. But there are other stylistic, pianistic elements that don't involve consecutive notes the entire time. like the enclosure. So, again, as long as you're playing consecutive notes, you're playing an ornamentation. And for this to be a turn, you have to go to either side of the note that you're starting on. Okay? So then here's the great exercise for it. This is the fun part. Now you can take it up the scale. And so for each note in the scale, you can apply a turn to each one. So for C, if we're in C major, there's our turn. Now to keep the rhythm continuous, instead of doing this, you could do that, but if we take one note out and that allows us to make the cycle continuous like this. Now on the way down, we do the inverted turn. Okay, one more time. Always leading with the middle finger. Okay, let's go through our other scales. So let's start with G. And back down. Okay, so let's keep going through the circle of fifths. Make sure we can do this with each scale. So let's start with D. So just a quick pause. What this requires you to do is visualize 3 notes at a time. Even if you're not playing them all at the same time, you have to group them in your head so you're ready to play them before you play them. So in my head, especially with the starting note, I'm thinking D, E, F sharp, G. So if you think about it that way, it's going to set you up for success. Okay, A major. Okay. I actually thought we were back with D. Let's play A major again. Okay. E major. B major. F sharp major. Okay. D flat major. A flat. E flat. I'm back. B flat. Or we could even go through our minor scales. But not necessary. Okay. So, just to recap, starting phrases with your middle finger is the most versatile way to start a phrase because it gives you an equal amount of fingers in either direction. It's the strongest finger in your hand. It's the most supported finger in your hand. It's the least likely to cause any kind of repetitive stress injury because it is the strongest one. So if you practice starting phrases with it, you're guaranteed to develop a proper piano technique.